What is up, you guys? Battle of the Horror Directors. Eli Roth versus Rob Zombie. Who do you guys got? Now, guys, this is a question I brought upon myself. I've been watching a lot of Eli Roth recently. Always been a big Rob Zombie fan. Always been a big Eli Roth fan. And, looking at Eli Roth's catalog with Hostel, Hostel 2, Cabin Fever, Knock Knock, Green Inferno, Rob Zombie having Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, Munsters, Halloween, Three from Hell. Great directors, both of them. I'm a fan of both of these directors right here. They all have their own unique style as well. When you watch Eli Roth, he is more of shock value. You watch his movies, you're expecting some blood and gore. You're expecting, some intensity. You're expecting, just shock, like a Marilyn Manson movie. With Rob Zombie, I'm expecting, just griminess, you know what I mean? Like a Texas Chainsaw griminess, crazy characters, nonstop cussing, just stuff like that. They all have like their niche in their films. One thing I will say, guys, is that I do feel that Rob Zombie's characters have this better development, surprisingly. Rob Zombie is a rock star, you know what I mean? He's a straight rock star, and his director making these movies is secondary. Eli Roth being a director, that is his only priority, is making these movies. Speaking of Eli Roth, he has a new one coming out, Ice Cream Man, which really want to stay tuned to that. Although Borderlands, I haven't seen, but I did hear that movie right there was just fucking bullshit. So there's that. But guys, when it comes to Rob Zombie's movies, Eli Roth's movies, they really have these similarities to them. They're really just these straightforward films. Definitely have like this rated R style to them. Grimy house, bloody as fuck. Similar characters. Always have like that bloody scenes, and just known for pushing boundaries, both of these directors right here. I would love to get the chance to work with either of these directors. I'm a fan personally of Rob Zombie and Eli Roth style more than the Quentin Tarantino side, Robert Rodriguez side, Michael Bay-ish even. I'm not going to go as far as Steven Spielberg, because even though I'm a horror fan, I don't watch a lot of Steven Spielberg, like Titanic and, Forrest Gump, shit like that. I don't really watch like those movies per se. Got nothing against them, but it's just not like, my cup of tea yet. I believe when I get older, I'll probably get into these films, watch like Castaway, shit like that. But I like these directors, like their style. Quentin Tarantino is more about the, action sequences, long storytelling, character development, a lot of dialogue use and shit like that. He's great for what that is. Eli Roth, Rob Zombie really push boundaries, and I dig their films. You know what I mean? It's just like these grimy house shits. Now with Eli Roth and Rob Zombie, they always have like these characters that talk raunchy. You know what I mean? Like just these goofball characters you love or hate. That's another thing with not only with their characters, their movies. They are love or hate films, guys. You watch these films, they're not really like, oh yeah, I love that shit, and although worldwide in popularity. It's going to be on a side, guys, where, you don't really hear people say that, like, oh, I fucking hate Castaway. I fucking hate Titanic. I hate Transformers. You'll get that with movies like this, though. You know what I mean? You'll be like, hey, man, you ever seen Hostel or Green Inferno? I hate movies like that. I hate that shit. And you'll get those that are kind of like, I love that stuff. I love that movie. It's different. It's creative. It's scary. It fucking fucked me up. So there are similarities with that, guys. Their characters are really like on the raunchy, kind of dumb, humorous side, although real, but just not your typical movie characters. You know what I mean? Like you really like no development, even kind of just like not likable, just straightforward, just a lot of randomness. You know what I mean? They seem like more like they're like talking off the cuff than reading like a script. You know what I mean? It seems like the dialogue is really improv as opposed to like professionally written and put together, which is not a bash because it gives their movies this authenticity. Like when they talk, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, it's just like, you get like stuff like that, especially arguments. I will say, Rob Zombie is really good about making argument scenes, writing those scenes about people arguing and bashing each other and shit-talking each other, especially in Devil's Rejects. I thought that the shit-talking and bashing and clashing in that movie was just fucking awesome. You got something to say to me, clown? Ah! Just stuff like that. All like those characters, you know what I mean? What you got? All that shit's just, I'm telling you, Rob Zombie more intense, I'd say. You know what I mean? He's just like more. I think it's because his films really do have like these. They need that character development, so it causes for you need that intensity with the dialogue. Eli Roth is just more about like the impact and just waiting for the kill, the blood, the gore, the gush, and shit like that. You know what I mean? Whether there's dialogue or not. I do think that like movies like Knock Knock, it being a thriller, it is a movie that really showcased Eli Roth's writing capabilities. Now, it's not like he's the best writer, but in that movie, it's not really like any killings, not like action like Borderlands, or it's not like mysterious like House with a Thousand Clock on the Walls. Speaking of House of a Thousand Clock on the Walls, House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie, both got these similar titles even. So, yeah, guys, with these directors right here, you know, it really is. You know, they really go down like these lanes, have like their, you know, niches and things of that nature. Eli Roth, really, you know, with his movies, it is really just about like the showcasing the gore and, you know, just the value of that. Now, one thing I really love about Eli Roth is that his different nature, you know what I mean? I love that the nature that he takes to his movies. One, I see the passion that he's into making his movies. It seems like everything he does is for a purpose. He backs it up. He's so informative. He's just showcasing that he's living his dream and having fun while making these movies. And not only that, Eli Roth really does seem like a really cool, great, understandable director to work with. Rob Zombie, although seems intense, he does seem a little straightforward and kind of like, you know, goes by the books and this is how it's going to be and blah, blah, blah. And if you fuck with him, he'll probably like, you know, rock your ass out or, you know what I mean? He's pretty intense. It seems like really professional. It seems like maybe Rob Zombie is a little bit more, actually, I'm not even sure because I know that both these guys are professional, but seems that like with Rob Zombie, he's probably more straightforward and Eli Roth is probably more willing to work. It seems like. Could be wrong, could be vice versa, but just the vibes I kind of get. Also, the nature of like their films, you know, I think like the nature of Devil's Rejects and Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie, although Eli Roth makes his movies very fucking probably gorier than Rob Zombie's films, Rob Zombie can push some subject matters deeper than Eli Roth. You know what I mean? He has some content in there that's fucking harsh, hardcore, and although not bloody, but just fucking just messy and mean. You guys know what I'm talking about, Devil's Rejects. So, you know, they both go there as directors. They push boundaries, which is great. I think cinema these days, guys, everything's safe. The MPA, just checking films and making sure there's no tits, blood. I get all like the other mean shit that goes on in films that are just unnecessary scenes. You know, I'm not going to say that word, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Scenes like The Last House on the Left. I don't fuck with that shit. And Devil's Rejects had a scene like that, but you know what? It wasn't so, it was mean as fuck, but it wasn't like super explicit, you know what I mean? It wasn't like just filled with nudity and it's like fucking forcing your face. It's kind of one of those where it's fucked, it's nasty, and then, you know, it's just not up to par with Last House on the Left, man. That one right there was just so fucked up, but I don't like those scenes, but, you know, Devil's Rejects still a great movie, and that scene, although fucked up, it doesn't weigh the movie down. It's showing how brutal and fucked up these characters are. And, you know, I know that Rob Zombie just, you know, wanted to go that route and just, you know, did what he did. Eli Roth, on the other hand, guys, you have to kind of see his films push that route. And to be honest, it seems that Eli Roth has his route of, I know what to shock you guys and to not offend you. You know, Eli Roth is really smart about that. He seems that I don't want to offend the audience. I want to give them some fucking brutality, you know what I mean? I don't want them to see this and be like, oh, that was, you know, why'd you do that? Oh, fuck. It's more of, you watch this and it's just kind of like, shit, man, that was actually pretty dope. Like, I see where you're coming from, you know, with these dumb characters and just shit like that. Like, for example, with Hostel, you know, he was saying that, like, with Hostel 1, it's okay because it's these dudes getting tortured and everyone's, you know, immune to that stuff. But in part 2, when it's the girls getting theirs getting tortured, it's a little bit more sensitive to audiences, them just seeing these pretty girls just getting fucked over. And he compared it to like a lion getting killed and then a deer getting killed. It's like, oh, why'd you kill the deer? He's just so sweet, just minding, you know, things like that. But, so Eli Roth seems really good about that nature, being brutal but not being offensive. Rob Zombie, on the other hand, as I would say, more offensive than brutal. You know what I mean? With his films and And Rob Zombie, I've heard his podcast where he has seen murders, he has seen stabbings, he has seen people just getting fucking, bloodied up, stabbed, murdered, killed, whatever it is. He talked about in the Joe Rogan podcast, and I know that Rob Zombie has some true darkness in his heart, and conveying this image on film is, he's just doing that shit that's really in his soul and in the back of his mind at the end of the day. So he's genuinely has that darkness in him as a director. So when he's making these films, it's genuine darkness coming from Rob Zombie. Creative darkness. Eli Roth, on the other hand, I did hear that his brain got scanned and he has the brain of a serial killer. And he does look intense, you know what I mean? The way he comes across, the way he talks, the way his vibe is, he doesn't have this intensity. He kind of has like this intensity charm. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I like to compare myself to Eli Roth, where it's like, we like to get dark. We like to get, we like the darkness, but we're not doing this to offend anybody and to like, just shit like that. It's not to like bash anybody or offend anybody. It's just to like represent and make the stand in horror and, just having fun with like the blood department, the horror department, the character department, the tit department, everything in the department. It seems like Eli Roth checks in his movies. And like I said, not in that way where it's like you're gonna, throw people off. It's more of like you're doing these things that, horror needs these days and you're just amping them up. Because these days, guys, MPA, the fucking system and all that stuff, checking these films is pretty annoying. We're getting that with Evil Dead Burn. I heard Evil Dead Burn was supposed to be NC-17 by its brutality, but the MPA has to go and check it, fuck with it, edit it, and make it okay. You know what? With both these directors right here, with their films in their filmography, there are some of them that, that can be NC-17. Hostel. I think Hostel can be NC-17. I think Devil's Rejects, if you were to, probably not, NC-17, but Rob Zombie, probably up to par. I'm telling you, both these guys have projects that are pretty fucking, boundary worthy. You know what I mean? Like they're stepping over boundaries a little bit. And those are the directors, guys, that I honestly fuck with. I like both these directors right here. I'm not going to go and compare them and put them on the charts of John Carpenter, although I do believe that they're in the same category. But with the status of John Carpenter, with Michael Myers and The Thing and Christine and Big Trouble in Little China, and even, I know people don't like Ghost of Mars. I love that shit. I think John Carpenter is brilliant as a director, as a musician. I think that he is so smart and brilliant about making a film and then making his musical content with it. John Carpenter makes full cohesive films. He makes a movie and an album together. And it's him. And that is rare right there, guys. What director? Michael Bay. He's not making Transformers and then, I put these songs together. No. Linkin Park has a song of Transformers. Michael Bay, you're not in Linkin Park. All right? You're singling out artists to go ahead and, do the music for your film. Compose, or not even compose, just edit and squeeze in songs, squeeze in already singles. But with John Carpenter, he makes his picture, he'll edit the music for the scene, compose the whole musical soundtrack, release that separately, have the soundtrack fit into the movie perfectly. And even if he has a soundtrack that's not for a movie, his soundtracks are up to par at like artist level. You know what I mean? John Carpenter is an artist / director. He can make awesome music, tones, synths, melodies. Hell, even the Michael Myers music for Christine, music for Halloween's, music for I'm telling you, he is just like even Ghost of Mars, where Ghost of Mars, he got real rockish, rock and rollish, bringing Anthrax in and Buckethead and shit like that, where it's just getting more grimy and meanish. I love John Carpenter. I think he's fucking great and brilliant, and it's unfortunate he hasn't been doing shit today, but you know what? He's old school, and he made a dent in his career already, a major impact for that. I don't think it's going to take a fucking major director to go ahead and be up to par with John Carpenter. But with Eli Roth, Rob Zombie, guys, I really wanted to go ahead and share my thoughts and my just really experiences with these directors right here. I get in these moods where I'm definitely Rob Zombie. I'm in his lane. I'm fucking with him. And I fuck with both of these directors heavy. I love them both for what they are, for what they have. Sometimes I will choose one over the other. You know what I mean? Recently, guys, I've been in Eli Roth. I've been watching a lot of his stuff, and I really dig his nature. Although, I will say, watching Eli Roth's movies, I do dig Rob Zombie's characters more. I think Rob Zombie has better character development. I think his characters are not necessarily likable, but just more enjoyable. You know, you watch these characters and they're dumb, they're humorous, and also that the actors he uses. Rob Zombie really squeezes in these old school actors that have been on TV and all this for a while. So he squeezes in faces that you've seen and really just throws them in these roles that are just fucking just different, and like one of the dads from Agent Cody Banks is like in all these movies, Rob Zombie's movies, just getting slaughtered and arm broken and getting cut up and slit. And I'm like, I never pictured that dad right there, just like this dad in this, family comedy PG movie over here getting fucking slit up and tore up in these, talking all raunchy too. Oh, look, Frankenstein, fuck ya. All these things. So I'm like, you know what? It's Rob Zombie, Both these guys, they're definitely risk takers. I think that Rob Zombie, and guys, we got to give Rob Zombie credit for being a musical artist and having the things to tour, to keep up with your band, to write, to direct these films, just all this stuff. The versatility Rob Zombie has is pretty fucking awesome. And as a director, you would think that, well, he's an artist. But you know what? As both, really, I think Rob Zombie is a killer artist. White Zombie, Rob Zombie, just these fucking killer songs. More heal, man, heal, man. So he's always been great. And his his films always been solid as well. House of a I think both their debuts are fucking up to par. Cabin Fever, and, then you get House of a Thousand Corpses. You get Hostel, House of a Thousand Corpses, or Devil's Rejects, like all like these, their debuts, their second films, or third films, they're really major landmarks for both these directors right here, guys. Although I will say, I think the first couple films that Rob Zombie dropped, they're fucking legendary films, guys. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. I love those shits right there. I think both those are great. I like House of a Thousand and Devil's Rejects more than Hostel 1 and 2. That's just me. I love Eli Roth's work, and I think that Hostel is its own particular brutal, torturous film. But I think that the westernness, the actionness, even the comedic value, and the horror values of Rob Zombie's first couple of films with House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects is unmatched. I think that shit's just fucking ballsy. But I love how Eli Roth makes these sexy films like Knock Knock, where Keanu Reeves opens the door to both these chicks and they're blowing him and having fun and these funny ass lines. It was free pizza and just stuff like that. I remember when I first saw that film, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? These girls are hot as fuck. But what bothered me was this was Keanu Reeves right out of John Wick. And, John Wick in that movie, we know him, guys. He's kicking ass. Like, literally, he's doing his own stunts, kicking ass in the film. No one's fucking with him. He's literally, everyone in the room, he's kicking their ass. He's kicking everyone's ass in the room, fucking nonstop. People twice his size, whatever it is. In this movie, he's getting his ass handed to him by these chicks. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like, literally. That girl right there didn't even have to try, and she got you on your knees, you're fucking wimping and crying all this stuff, but it's a movie, and Keanu Reeves, you can't always be a badass, I thought it was going to be like Statham, where if Jason Statham's in this movie, he's going to fucking kick someone in the face. But in that movie, Knock Knock, guys, I don't think it's necessarily about the action and all that stuff, it's more about really just like the sexiness, the thrillerness, the home invasionness. Even the line delivery, guys, the line delivery in that Eli Roth Knock Knock is fucking hilarious right there. I hear a lot of people say that's the most unintentionally hilarious movie, but you know what? Eli Roth knew what he was doing. I know he calls it a thriller, and this is like a thriller, and it is. But that right there is a fucking comedic thriller comedy. I'm telling you, the shit that goes on in that movie is just, it's humorous and just laughable. It's hella funny. But it is very different, guys, and I like that, Eli Roth. He's a very unpredictable director. That is one dude right there that I don't know what the hell he could do next. There's one film like Borderlands threw me off. That does not seem like something Eli Roth would do. And I don't think he should have done because it didn't do well. And by the looks and style of it, people are like, dude, this fucking game is like brutal and raunchy and crazy. And this movie's PG-13 and fucking stupid. And so I don't know why Eli Roth did that. But, there's probably a reason. Maybe he is a gamer. I don't really get that vibe from Eli Roth that he's a gamer by his films, But I don't know if he needed the check or just the title or just, wanted to have his name on it at least. I'm not sure, but I know the guy has potential. People fuck up. People have like these mistakes, these flops, but I know Rob Zombie does too. A lot of people bash Munsters. Guys, I dug the Munsters. I know it's pretty dumb. People are calling this new scary movie dumb. They are dumb. But you gotta know what you're getting into that's dumb but workable. You know what I mean? I know there's that thin line where it's like, it's dumb, but it's not even likable. It's just pure dumb. No, some shit is meant to be like not serious, but still enjoyable. And I think like movies like Munsters and even Knock Knock and shit like that, it's not meant to be like these films where so professionally, greatly made and films that you give 9 out of 10. They're films that you watch and really just kind of like enjoy the funness out of them. You know what I mean? Like the line, the dialogue and the scenarios. Where someone's tied up and their life is on the line, and he's talking about how you came to me, you sucked my cock, it was free pizza. I just think that shit right there is hella funny. I don't think that, you gotta be one funny ass dude and be in a good mood and be hopeful as fuck to make and to talk like that when your life's on the line being tied up. That's funny. And it's really funny coming from Keanu Reeves, this action star right here, this guy right doesn't really talk a lot in his movies. Really, Keanu Reeves is not this big talker in movies. He's supposed to be kicking ass. But I think that the line delivery and just how Keanu's personality is, like this vulnerable, nice guy to get fucked with by these two beautiful chicks, is pretty smart. Like, he's not this mean guy where it's like, okay, dude, you can take them. It's more of like, just girls. It's like, one of these guys where it's like, he's not about that. He's a nice father, nice dudes, and he gets taken advantage of. So I thought that was really cool. And again, even credit to Eli Roth. He gets really good actors and actresses too. He's really good about squeezing in. That is Eli Roth's thing right there. Not so much Rob Zombie's. Rob Zombie's more about his wife. He squeezed in Sharon Moon Zombie all in his movies, and she does great. I think that she's wonderful and beautiful. With Eli Roth, on the other hand, he fits in. He's really good about squeezing in beautiful actresses in his movies. His wife included at one point in Green Inferno and Knock Knock. But even in besides these movies, he is good about just squeezing in just chicks. Look at the chicks in Hostel. Look at the chicks in Cabin Fever, especially Knock Knock. I know that, not so much Green Inferno. I know that was his wife. But still, like, he's good at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? His recent film, Thanksgiving. Shit like that. He's good about squeezing. And guys, I think that with horror, that is something that we need. And it really isn't a requirement. You know what I mean? I think that Friday 13th and Elm Street and even Halloween is what started that trend of squeezing in these beautiful girls to intrigue us, to pull us in, to understand, to have us like them already. You know what I mean? Like, if this girl's ugly and dumb, no one's going to give a fuck. But when you're watching a film and these beautiful girls just strike you right in the eye immediately and keep you intrigued, you like them. It keeps you intrigued. It pulls you in. You're watching. You're like, I don't give a fuck what she's saying, what she's doing. This girl's bomb. I just want to watch her in action. And Eli Roth is good about that, about having these actresses that are really pretty and really, to seduce us into their roles that they're playing and keeping us intrigued. I think that's really important, guys, especially in the horror genre, to have not only necessarily nudity, but great character writing and just good-looking actresses. You know what I mean? Like, I hate watching some of these films where the girls aren't likable, just some ugly-ass chicks in this film and all that stuff. I'm like, shit, man. I get it. Not everything needs to, be bomb and hot, but it's like, I do like a good film like, like Wrong Turn, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. A lot of these films have like these hot final girls. Even Evil Dead. I think the Evil Dead 2013 film where that girl, even though she looked fucking scary and possessed and evil as fuck, but when she's in her original final girl style, I think she's pretty banging. She's hot. She's fucking brutal. She's deadly. She's mean. That stuff is effective, guys, in horror. I think that, having these hot final chicks and hot girls in these films, either having them being final chicks or get killed off, is just important, all right? And I know that girls probably want, like, good-looking dudes in movies too, so it goes hand in hand. I think that movies and cinema just need familiar, proper faces and acting and people, and just looks and acting is what really plays a major part, guys. I'm telling you, in movies, obviously. But Eli Roth, I give credit to him for having that better side, because Rob Zombie, it's always going to be his wife. It's always going to be his wife. But Eli Roth, I believe him doing his thing now. He hasn't been squeezing in his wife at the time in movies. I believe He squeezed in his wife at the time for Knock Knock and Green Inferno. They also worked on Aftershock, but Eli Roth, that's his, more of his thing. I know that, with his style, that's always been his thing, and I love that about his movies. So, guys, I'm telling you, both of these directors right here, they're very unique and very similar, yet different in their own ways. It's really hard to explain. I think that both of these directors right here have made their own staple in the horror genre specifically. Although both these directors have veered off in many versatile directions away from horror, including family, comedy, action, things of that nature, guys. Eli Roth has a film, Death Wish, which I believe is a remake, this time with Bruce Willis. And it's like an action movie. I believe it's similar to like Death Sentence with James Wan. And I know that one right there is pretty solid. So Eli Roth can make a good action flick. Don't let Borderlines critique that or take that away from him. Death Wish is still there. Action with Rob Zombie. You got Devil's Rejects. I think that's a really solid one right there, guys. That Western action side. Stepping away from the horror a little bit from House of a Thousand Corpses. But I think that both these directors, their main niches, their main just, I know guilty pleasures from them and me is the horror. I think that even Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I know that they both favor one another. I've heard Eli Roth speak really highly of Rob Zombie and what he wanted to see, and was really psyched to go and check out his new Halloween films, and was really curious on what his take of Michael Myers was going to be. And although, guys, I will say that Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 isn't like the best remake and all that stuff, it's different. It's a different take on Michael Myers, but his take on Halloween 2, I think is pretty fucking awesome, guys. I think it's pretty fucking awesome. I think that is a dark take on Michael right there. Now, with me, guys, I like to look at Michael Myers as just pure darkness. He's mostly out there in the night. He's dark. He's evil. It's Halloween. All this shit. And I think the brutality that not only Rob Zombie portrayed, but the killings, the blood, I really even dug the characters in Halloween 2. I thought that girl, although she had PTSD the whole film, I just thought that, the whole film was pretty, I thought it was actually really sufficient. I cared for the characters. I cared for her friends. I cared for, I always cared for Michael. Brad Dourif, even playing a cop. Chucky, who plays a cop. Rob Zombie's also really good about squeezing in these cultish classic horror icons like Candyman, Brad Dourif, all these people, these familiar faces you'll see pop up. Guy from the Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes, the bald dude who kind of looks like a cannibal a little bit. You'll see him in House Devil's Rejects. So always squeezing in these old school familiar horror faces into his films and just having that nostalgic callback. So Rob Zombie's really good about that, guys. But honestly, for me, it is fucking hard to go ahead and decide on who is the better director. I mean, I know that both of them have impressed me to the fullest. They both have a really unique, versatile catalog. And even their comedy shits, guys, you know what I mean? With their comedy shits with Eli Roth, where what's a pretty good comedy he made? I know Eli Roth made a comedy. Knock Knock. House of a Thousand Clocks on Its Walls. Either way, if Eli Roth hasn't made a straight comedy movie, I know he said that he wants to make like a Kentucky Fried movie is what he labeled it. A Kentucky Fried movie like Jackass, a movie like that, like Borat. And he always has these comedic characters and scenes, scenarios going on in his movies. But I don't think he's made like a straightforward comedy yet. I'm not sure. Although Knock Knock, we consider that unintentional comedy. But Rob Zombie, I think that he's, although not as funny as Eli Roth, which I don't think he's trying to be. I think that Rob Zombie has some funny ass shit in his movies. But I think that Eli Roth, he has like this more raunchy, over the top humor. You know what I mean? People are shitting in the corner. People like are jerking off in the weirdest scenarios. And he's pretty fucking hardcore, man. Eli Roth's bloody scenes are just as crazy as his funny scenes. I never really hear that, that too much. His funny scenes aren't really tame. They're pretty explicit, you can say. But I think that Eli Roth might win me over in the comedy department, you know what I mean? Because I think he just has more laughs and more funny ass shit going on in his movies that he does than Rob Zombie. But I think both these directors right here, I would really love to see both of them even work together, like kind of like how Quentin Tarantino, Eli Roth, and Robert Rodriguez did on the Grindhouse productions with Planet Terror and Death Proof, where it's like, these directors get together and they make like these bundle films type shit. You know what I mean? A double feature. He does one, I do one, and we just release it together as one cohesive film. I would love to see Eli Roth adaptation and Rob Zombie adaptation put into one. I think that would be pretty fucking awesome. Calling it now, I bet you Rob Zombies would be like really like, really Texas-ish, Texas Chainsaw-ish, really grimy, dirty, literally dirty. And then Eli Roth's probably going to come over here with the shiny, polished, sexy girls and fucking, bikinis and cheerleaders and just stuff like that. So it'd be a crazy blend of, sexiness and, modernness on a take of old school Texas, cowboy western style. So I think that, both these directors have like their style, which I would love to see, guys, if these directors come together and just give us something. I know that both these directors have been out for a long time, about 20 years already. And with that kind of time right there, I'm not sure if they'll do a collaboration project. I know that, projects like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, those came out probably within 10 years of their career, whatnot. But, these guys right here being like, 20 years in, veterans at this point. I'm not sure if they're looking for collaborations per se, but it's something I would love to see, guys. Love to see, and I know it would not disappoint with especially coming from both these directors right here. So, guys, who are you the bigger fan of? If you gotta say, are you going with Eli Roth with The Hostel, with dudes getting their balls cut off and girls getting the freaking cut up, and Green Inferno while people are shitting in the corner, and you get these cannibal tribe-ish stuff going on? And guys, that's another thing I want to point out is that Eli Roth's Green Inferno. Now, Rob Zombie is a big fan of Cannibal Holocaust. He talks about the movie, how it's fucking brutal and its brutality and shock nature is just unmatched. It's insane. Now, I've yet to see that movie, but I have seen Green Inferno in the theaters and at home plenty of times. And with a movie like Green Inferno, guys, this is a movie right here that's not easy to make. The actors, the directors, everybody involved in Green Inferno they got sick making the film. They got bit by these big ass bugs. The conditions were bad, almost dying, almost drowning. Just the weather conditions were just brutal. So I got to give Eli Roth credit and he says that, guys, A Green Inferno is pretty much the most insane movie ever shot. We took the camera crew farther than anyone's ever taken a camera crew before. And, so he's pretty much implying that we really got fucking tribal and really went to these Amazons over here away from like everybody, you know what I mean? And went to go shoot this film as an experiment. So I think that's really cool right there, guys, to have like this film that, although very different, very tribal Amazon, it's different from like a lot of people's filmography, and it seemed like that's something Eli Roth really wanted to do, not only to have the film on his filmography but for the experiment. It seemed like he really enjoyed traveling and going and meeting these people and getting away from, who knows, California and shit like that, and just traveling and also making a film at the end of the day, like that double whammy where it's like we travel and we're gonna make a movie while we do it and as we're there. So I think that's pretty cool right there, a cool staple to have. Now, I know Green Inferno isn't labeled as his best film, but I think it's a film, guys, that's worth checking out and is a modern day Cannibal Holocaust. Now, I haven't seen Cannibal Holocaust, but I know that Eli Roth was going for that style. And I'm familiar with Cannibal Holocaust and what goes on in the movie, and watching Green Inferno, it seems like the same type of shit that's going to be going on. So that's one thing right there, guys. As much as that Cannibal Holocaust movie has sparked up controversy, and for Eli Roth to have a Cannibal Holocaust remake under his belt and in his filmography, that's pretty fucking bitchin' and ballsy right there, because Rob Zombie can't say that. He has crazy movies, but he hasn't went to the Amazon and shot with these real tribe members, and not only has been around Cannibal Holocaust, but has his own Cannibal Holocaust to show for. Eli Roth, that's pretty fucking awesome and bitchy right there. As much as your other films are pretty simplistic, you got this ballsy ass film that you went to the Amazon and shot with fucking giant spiders and probably real cannibals and tribals and fucking, real, just everything's just real and authentic over there, okay? He's not over there living rich, over here eating fucking shrimp and pasta and all of this rich food. No, he's probably over there fishing, having to eat spiders, getting sick, getting rashes, getting bitten everywhere, just to make good content and a good movie. So that is commitment right there, baby. I give credit to Eli Roth for just that alone. Now, even if I didn't love the movie, I think that's still credit to be given right there for the risk you take for yourself, for the crew, all that shit right there. I really just think it's just fucking, just worth it right there. And you can't discredit that right there. I think that's something right there that directors, and it needs to be noted by now. I bet you not a lot of people know that fact right there, that Eli Roth really went to the Amazons, and over there was like the most dangerous area, to really shoot these films. Sorry guys, a little under the weather and stuff like that. So, but still, still doing this content for you guys. You know what I mean? Still squeezing in reviews, still sharing, likabilities and experiences. But, a sickness ain't gonna bring me down, man. You know what I mean? I'm like Eli Roth. We go to the Green Inferno. We got films to shoot. We got things to do. Hey, we're sick. We're feeling ill. But you know what? Work needs to be done. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be blowing my nose and boogers, all this stuff. So I'm just going to be, if you guys hear me sniffing and stuff, it's just, a little under the weather. Not, flu-ish, but little cold symptoms. But it's all good. Ain't nothing I can't handle. You know what I mean? We're human. And we got to fight these illnesses. But, guys, Eli Roth, Rob Zombie, the battle of the directors. Who are you going with, man? Guys, I share my likings of both these directors right here. As much as I've shared them, it is fucking hard to decipher on who I really dig more. You know what I mean? Having the better films of... Now, I noticed that I probably do come back to Rob Zombie's films. Maybe more than Eli Roth's films. I maybe come back to Rob Zombie's films more. But I'm not sure if I genuinely like them more. I'm not sure. It's weird because... As a person, I love Eli Roth. I think he's really informative. He's interesting. He's a cool dude. I love his style and just his movie making. I mean, you can just kind of tell when it's an Eli Roth movie just by the characters, the writing. They just feel so rawish. So it's really hard to decipher, guys. Rob Zombie has like this Texas Chainsaw style where it just seems that he is a new Toby Hooper type shit. But guys, it is really hard to decipher. I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts though on who do you guys think is the better director, who are you feeling more, who do you think has the better films? Are you going with like Hostel 1 and 2, the brutality of those? Are you going for more of like the character development for Rob Zombie and House of a Thousand, Devil's Rejects and Monsters and Halloween, whatever it is? Who you guys going with, guys? Let me know down below, guys. If you could, please like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. I do a lot of reviews on music, directors, films, whatever it is, just art and etc. You know what I mean? Just everything art and things like that, guys. So really curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know who you're feeling more, and if you guys feel there's another director out there that's, up to par and pretty underground, because we can both say that both these directors have made landmarks, but they're pretty underground. You don't really hear a lot of people talk about Eli Roth and throw him in the, talks of John Carpenter, Wes Craven, or even Jordan Peele, It seems that actors like Jordan Peele, who only have like 1 or 2, 3 films under their belt, they get talked so much about. And I feel that like directors like Rob Zombie and Eli Roth, although very underground and grimy, have made staples in the horror genre and other genres that I just think that, they're a little underrated is what it feels like to me. I think that these directors right here just deserve more credit, more attention, and just, also just more. I would really like to see more works from both these directors right here, especially Rob Zombie. I noticed that he takes a little longer than Eli Roth to release his films, but, he's a musician as well, so I know that, that's not his main priority. But I'm looking forward to Ice Cream Man with Eli Roth, guys. We're getting a new film from him in August. I did see a preview to that, and that right there looks fucking intense. I hear that Eli Roth wants to make a brutal-ass film, something ballsy, something fucking crazy. And again, for shock value, man, that is what Eli Roth likes. And also, I did hear that he's working on Thanksgiving too. So, there's 2 films out there with Eli Roth. Really looking forward to this. Ice Cream Man looks like it's going to be fucking insane. I've yet to see the original Ice Cream Man from like the 80s or something. But this remake right here, guys, of these kids, these evil type kids, and this evil ice cream truck driver. According to Eli Roth, it's going to be very bloody, very vicious. And I hope it's going to be coming to theaters, not just like straight to Shudder or something like that. I would love to, I love these directors right here where I want to see their films on the big screen and with an audience. I saw Green Inferno in the theaters on the big screen, and although people were walking out from the fucking brutality, they were walking out. This movie was so fucking brutal that they were just walking out of the movie theater and then and never coming back. They never came back to the movie theater ever because of just the brutality of Green Inferno. Now, I witnessed Terrifier Acts and theaters and on the big screen before Terrifier Art was on the big screen. I went to go see Green Inferno on the big screen and just seeing fucking just eyeballs gouged out and all these brutality things and seeing people getting up and rushing out of the movie theater, dropping their popcorn, shitting on their pants on the way out. I've witnessed that stuff before Terrifier had it. I heard that Terrifier had ambulances called and all this shit. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It's pretty fucking intense, guys, Eli Roth. So I'm really curious if he's going to be going even further than Green Inferno Hostel. Because if this Ice Cream Man is more brutal than Hostel, Cabin Fever, fucking Green Inferno, that is going to be ballsy. I don't know how much blood this ice cream is going to have, but it's going to be a lot of fucking strawberry ice cream, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of red everywhere, all this stuff. So looking forward to that. And also with the subject matter of kids, you know what I mean? So who knows how that's going to be. It looks like they're evil kids. And it definitely looks like they're killing other kids. So that movie looks like it's going to be very fucking controversial. But you know what? It's Eli Roth. It's a remake. And it's supposed to be just a fucking blood fest. So looking forward to that. But with Rob Zombie, I know he's been working on music. Just released a music video for Tarantula on one of his most recent albums. So it's good that, and Rob Zombie's always representing great satanic power. So his new album right there, guys, you have to check it out, but I did hear it's fucking solid. From a reliable source, Cody Leach. Cody Leach was saying that, another YouTube reviewer, and, I watch his content a lot. We both got great we both got great taste in films, music. And when he was talking about Rob Zombie, he was just saying how he's like, this new album right here, guys, is fucking... Because Rob Zombie's past couple albums fell flat, but this new one's supposed to be fucking bonkers and strong. So looking forward to that. But either way, guys, I'm just glad that both these directors are relevant and doing their thing, not fading away from the spotlight. They're still doing their thing. So we can look forward to, guys, to Eli Roth's upcoming films with Thanksgiving 2 and Ice Cream Man. I do believe we'll probably get Thanksgiving 2 maybe next year or the year after, considering we're getting Ice Cream Man this year within a month or two. And also, guys, with Rob Zombie just having his new album out right there, you can check that out as well. But guys, until then, thanks for sticking with me on this one. Eli Roth versus Rob Zombie. Let me know what you think down below. It is a hard decision right here, guys. This video turned out a lot more longer than I thought. But you know what? Just sharing the love and just the genuine love and passion that I have for these directors and films and music and art and in general, guys. You know what I mean? Just good art just never dies. And I'm just really curious to see what Eli Roth's new cinema is going to be like. And I bet that Rob Zombie is going to get back in the director's chair very soon. He's just probably wrapping up a tour, his album, the music video is getting that done. And then once he has, because I know that Rob Zombie always stays busy and always has great ideas. So really curious to what he's going to go and execute next, have next under his belt and what they're going to do and fucking execute and all this stuff. I know he also has some films that have yet to come out, like unreleased films and all these things. So the next move for Rob Zombie, guys, is a movie. He has the album, he has the music videos, all that stuff. So the next thing we're going to get is movies. So hopefully we can get a Rob Zombie movie and an Eli Roth movie in the same fucking year. That would be bitching right there, guys. It does seem like we got a Rob Zombie album and an Eli Roth movie. But if we can get a Rob Zombie movie, guys, that would be the cherry on top. But guys, let me know, what is your favorite from each? What is your favorite Eli Roth movie and what is your favorite Rob Zombie movie, guys? And if you could, just please like and subscribe and comment down below. And that way we can talk about some movies, some horror, and the directors. And just go ahead and share opinions, guys. Until next time, guys, see you on the next one. Deuces! Have a good one, guys.